Comment, like, subscribe. The bell keeps you notified. It helps the show thrive. What would life be without great food and amazing drinks? And of course, all food and drinks are given names. Names that are searched for in supermarkets, asked waiters for, or shouted through a microphone at a drive-thru. The names of these foods and drinks, however, didn't just appear out of thin air. Many foods and drinks have names which stem from ancient parts of language or have interesting stories behind them. So in today's video, we're going to be finding out how a selection of foods and drinks got their names. And if you happen to really enjoy this video, then I have some great news for you, as this video is actually an animated extract from not just one of my books, but both of them. The food origin names you'll discover in this video come from the food chapter of my first book, The Origin of Names, Words and Everything in Between. And the drink etymologies in this video are from my second book, The Origin of Names, Words and Everything in Between, Volume 2, unsurprisingly from the drinks chapter. These two books are some of the things I'm most proud of in my career of Name Explain. They are fun, silly little books that are easy to read and make great gifts for someone who loves words and language in your life. Or why not just treat yourself to one or both of them? They were available in pretty much all places you can buy books from, and available in all major formats, from physical copies to ebooks to the awesome audiobook editions, read by someone who actually knows how to speak. So if you haven't enjoyed these books yet, then why not check them out right now and order a copy of both volumes. They also look great next to each other on a shelf, by the way. Anyway, that's enough shelling for myself. Why don't I let the books talk for themselves as we find out how some of the most delicious foods and drinks got their names. Hamburgers are enjoyed all around the world. There are very few places on earth where you can't find a certain food chain that is selling them. I'm not sure if this should be a celebration of the love of the hamburger or a look into the ruthlessness of marketing. But anyway, what's interesting is that hamburgers, despite their name, aren't typically made with ham, but instead with beef. So why are they called hamburgers then? Well, we have the city of Hamburg in Germany to thank for this, but there's way more to it than simply that. The name of the city of Hamburg comes from a castle that's constructed in the city many years ago, Hammerburg. The burg means castle or fort, but the meaning of the hammer part remains mysterious. German explorers in Asia in the 18th century noticed something the locals did with their beef. They placed it in their saddle as they rode their horses, and the beef would get softer and easier to consume. The Germans loved this idea so much that they brought it back to the city of Hamburg with them, becoming known as Hamburg meat. As more Germans immigrated to the States, they brought their Hamburg meat with them, and in the same way Germans fell in love with it in Asia, Americans fell in love with it too. By 1884, people in the States were talking about the Hamburg state, and in 1885, a man called Charlie Negreen would make the first ever American hamburger, which was just a patty with no buns or extras. The first bunned hamburger wouldn't appear until 1904 at the St. Louis World Fair. Over time, Hamburg was shortened to just burger, and other words put in front of it, like beef burger, chicken burger, and if you're a hippie like me, veggie burger. Water is undoubtedly one of the single most important things for us and our planet. About 60% of the human body is made up of water, and around 70% of our planet is made up of this stuff. It's the reason life has been able to flourish on this planet and separates us from all the other hunks of rock in the galaxy. When we explore the cosmos, we hope to find water, because that could mean further life. Water is so gosh darn important. It's just a shame that its etymology isn't as fun. As it's so vital to us, we've always had to have a word for it. And what we know about water is that it dates all the way back to the Proto-Indo-European wed, meaning water/wet. We aren't too sure where it came from beyond this, but some think it may relate to another Proto-Indo-European word, up, meaning animate, as water was thought to be a living force, which was very animated. Like I said, water doesn't have the most interesting etymology, but it's water for goodness sakes, I couldn't not mention it. What I also find interesting with water is the other words we use to describe it. Most noticeably, we have aqua and hydro. We use these words in lieu of water all the time with the likes of aquarium and hydroelectricity. Aqua simply comes from the Latin name for the stuff, and hydro comes from Greek, the two languages that seemingly shaped so much of the world around us. These two words of aqua and hydro, however, both come from just as unknown origins as water. This fruit is enjoyed by young people everywhere, from being eaten as it is to being spread on toast. The fruit is having something of a revival in recent years. Avocados may look like pears, or even like cucumbers while they're growing. Their name comes from something else people thought they looked like: testicles. The word is thought to come from the Nahuatl word acuat, which means testicles, as the Aztecs thought the fruit was somewhat reminiscent in appearance to the low-hanging fruit of men. The fruit also has a more reptilian-based name, the alligator pear. The skin of the fruit was thought to look somewhat like the scales of an alligator. One of the more popular ways to serve avocado is as guacamole. This word too is Nahuatl, originally as aguacamole, which is a combination of the aforementioned Nahuatl name for the fruit and their word mole, which means sauce. So guacamole basically means testicle sauce. Feel free to eat it now. Tea is considered the most widely drunk drink across the globe, just behind water. It's a drink that comes in all different varieties, whether that be herbal or even iced. While linked heavily with my home nation of the United Kingdom, tea's roots are in China. When first brewed in the Far East, it was given the name of tu, which is represented with this Chinese character. This name meant bitter vegetable, as tea is somewhat bitter and made with plants. This Chinese name, however, changed into cha, which is represented with this character. These two Chinese characters are exactly the same, minus one stroke. The scholar of Lu Yu, who wrote a book about tea in 760 AD, gave it this new name by mistake when he forgot to add that aforementioned stroke. This spelling mistake firmly entrenched this hot beverage with the name cha. Tea was brought over from China to Europe first by the Portuguese in the 14th century. In Portuguese, the word for the drink is still firmly cha. 100 or so years after the Portuguese discovered tea, the Dutch started exporting it into Europe too. The Dutch stationed themselves in the Fujian province of China. The natives of this region pronounced the name of the drink rather differently. Instead, they pronounced it as thee, which led to the Dutch to use this name too. The Dutch brought the leaves to the shores of Great Britain, who instantly fell in love with the drink. This led to the English language adopting the Dutch name for the drink, which became tea. So the name tea is the English adaptation of the Dutch adaptation of the Fujian dialect adaptation of the Chinese name, a name that's just as interesting as tea's history in our world. Straight up, French toast isn't even French. Recipes for a proto-French toast have been found from the 4th century, being whipped up by Romans. This recipe outdates the country of France as we know it itself. The Romans called this dish pain dulcus, which was mixed with just milk, but sometimes egg, and then fried up. This type of meal came up again in 15th century England, this time known as pain perdu, which meant lost bread. This bread was lost as the bread fried up with milk was normally hard and stale. The French still called French toast as we know it pain perdu. So what about that modern name of French toast? Well, it's not because it came from France, but rather it was pioneered by a man named Joseph French in 1724. It should really be French's toast, but over time it just became French toast. More often than not, there's another word preceding cola. However, that's the name of just one brand of cola drink. Many other companies produce cola drinks too. It seems, however, that it was Coca-Cola that blessed this type of carbonated drink with the word cola. Pepsi's full name is Pepsi Cola, you must remember. Coke definitely doesn't own the complete rights to the word as much as they want to. Before being the name of a sugary soft drink, however, cola was still the name of a seed, that seed being called the cola nut. This seed and its tree are part of the Coca family, and its main use is being added to soft drinks for flavoring. Cola drinks are simply named after the produce that flavors them, like lemonade or apple juice. Unfortunately, however, we don't know how exactly the cola nut got its name, other than it's from old Western African roots. What I'm sure you noticed though is that cola nut starts with a K, while the drink starts with a C. This wasn't an accident. Coca-Cola's inventor, John Pemberton, purposely decided to use C's instead of K's in the name, as he felt two C's would look nicer than a C followed by a K. Coca-Cola definitely doesn't look as nice, I suppose. Now, I hope you guys aren't feeling too hungry or thirsty after hearing how all those foods and drinks got their names. If you are, however, then fear not, as there are many more food and drink name origins for you to uncover within the pages of these two books. And even beyond food and drink names, there are still hundreds of other names and words explained within the pages of these books. So order your copies of the original names, words, and everything in between volumes 1 and 2 today. You can buy them pretty much wherever you buy books from in all major formats, with some links down below. Bon appetit! Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, and the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos. $2 a month gets you all that, plus your name here with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/NameExplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.